Anna is posting on the community some additional announcements, but let's little by little start the event. I'm going to introduce our amazing speakers to you. Like always, we have a great bunch here today. I'm going to start from Erika. Erika is a senior marketing professional who has been working in B2B and B2C Finnish companies for some years. She is currently working at Movements while contributing to different organizations working in the D&I sphere, mentoring young marketers and doing pro bono consulting on the side. Hi, Erika, welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much.
Next up, M. Seikkanen. M is a creative marketing professional from Western New York. In addition to participating in Awesome Marketers and full-time work, M consults as a content and copywriter through her Seikkaisen toiminimi and runs the marketing as co-founder of Aare, a travel app to lift the profiles of overlooked hidden gems throughout Finland. Hi, M, and welcome.
Hi, Ekaterina. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, pleasure to have you. M is also my mentor now. So I'm thrilled.
No problem.
Yes. And last but not least, Ilyas Boudrari, originally Moroccan, studied in Belgium and now living in Finland. Also, he has been working in B2B sales for the last 4 years, currently for Virta. Hi, Ilyas.
Hi, and thank you for having me. Really excited to share what I have to share.
Nice. Yes, but the topic of today might sound to some a little bit controversial. Is it because you're an expat or is your CV bad? But I would like to say from the beginning that we are not going to have any heated dispute here about being a foreigner or looking a job as a foreigner. We rather try to see what it really is that helps to find a job here in Finland, and hopefully the speakers are going to share some wisdom with us. And I'm going to probably also try to contribute because I have had an experience with that too. Yes, but let's, as always, start from short round of introduction slash keynotes, like why this topic is attractive to you and basically how you relate to this topic and whatever else you would like to start with. I think.
Yes, I can start. So basically, this is a topic that is very dear to my heart because when I came to Finland, I had, as many foreigners, I had a lot of trouble to get a job. And there was also a change in career. So I moved from academia into marketing. And it took me quite a bit of time to understand that the problem was that my application materials were just not good enough. And once I fixed my CV and cover letter, I started getting interviews. And on the other hand, I also been a hiring manager in quite a lot of positions. So I've seen firsthand how it is from the hiring manager point of view and how a not great CV and cover letter can really harm your chances. So I'm here to share my knowledge from both sides, and I really hope it's going to be useful. I've done this in the past for quite a few people that have come back to me afterwards and be like, oh, actually, yeah, these advices really helped me land a position. So I hope that it's going to help you too.
Yes, sounds like that. Em, would you like to also give a short round of introduction?
Sure. This is, very an important topic. Personally, for me, if there's a thing that I can do, I probably think I'm doing it badly. And this type of imposter syndrome, I think, is especially prevalent, or like it happens a lot with women professionals, especially. So I really wanted to be able to help other people kind of understand, no, your CV isn't bad. Like, you just need to maybe edit it a bit. Like, we can get it there. And like, we're here to help you. Your community is here to help you. And the most important thing you can remember to do is ask for help. So we're here to help you, and welcome.
Through that.
Yes, for me, I think when I arrived here, arrived here in Finland, I found myself with a different background. I studied finance, and then I felt lost in a way that I kept applying for almost a month or two, trying to get into a job position where I can work in the field where I studied. Then I noticed I didn't get any good replies all the time. It's just no or no feedback at all. And then that moment I start to understand, okay, there is something wrong. This is not the way that I should do it. It's not the old days we just send a bunch of CVs and hopefully looking for someone to answer your CV and call you for an interview. So what I did it differently and start doing things in more creative way, and that's what exactly I want to share with you here, guys, today when you join us in this event. And looking forward to share more tips and how I landed my first job when I got here for the first 4 months.
Super cool, Ilyas. By the way, I also have a financial background, so I'm especially interested to hear how you made the career change, because I'm right now in the process of it.
Okay, happy to help.
Yes, yes, but we have had, as always, I try to prepare for the event and try to ask, as you register, to throw out some questions in advance, and I have some of them. But before we dive into this, I think we have some, how do we do this? Do we start to answer the questions right away in your,
No, yeah, I would prefer I have prepared something that at least I would like to talk about before we go to questions.
Yes, let's start with round of keynotes then, and then go to questions.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so as we discussed it, I would start first. There are a couple of very practical things that I want to share, and if I look back at what my process has been, I made every mistake in the book. So I was sending application to everything. I was not personalizing my application. I was using, the classic CV template, and I was not really thinking about the skills that I needed to highlight for each job. So let's go in detail about all the things that you need to think when you are preparing your CV and cover letter for an application. This is especially from marketing point of view. I'm not talking obviously about technical fields in which this might be less relevant, but this is highly relevant for marketing. It is very relevant probably also for sales and any kind of office job that is not tech related. Let's put it this way. So problem number one, of course, we already know this. It makes no sense to spam tons of applications. You really have to tailor your CV, yes, also your CV and your cover letter for each job. And it needs to highlight the skills that are relevant for that job description. It makes no sense to just put everything in there, but you need to curate your CV and you need to really highlight the things that are most relevant. Secondly, your CV, especially marketing, should follow a format which is skill, accomplishment, numerical format. This means that my CV, if I say that my position has been marketing assistant, then I list all the skills that are marketing related. So for example, content marketing. What does it mean in practice? What has been the accomplishment? Created, 10 blog posts that has ranked first for this keyword in the target market. So I always have to have skill, accomplishment, and some numerical thing to back it up. If a skill is lead acquisition, then my accomplishment will be exceeded the lead acquisition goal for the year by 50%. So I'm always backing up what I say. You really have to think about the perspective of show, don't tell. Hiring manager doesn't have much time to spend on your CV, and they are not mind readers. They are not gonna guess what your skills are and how good you are just by seeing a list of jobs. You really have to take the time and thinking about the accomplishments for this job, and you have to use language that everybody can understand. So if I'm marketing, I have to talk about content marketing, I have to talk about social media marketing. And you really have to give some accomplishment. It's not enough to just say, I managed the Facebook page. Yeah, okay, great. But what were the results? Maybe you achieved really high organic traffic and really high organic reach, or you manage to grow the follower number in an impressive manner, like you have to give me something to understand that you are good at what you do. So the third one is, what do I do if I don't really have much of a career yet, right? Maybe you haven't had so many jobs and you really are developing. So you need to start thinking, if I don't have the skills that this job requires, first of all, look at your background. Maybe you have a blog, or you started your own YouTube channel, or you're the administrator of the Facebook group, or you are volunteering for some organization, or you are creating a content portfolio just for yourself. You really have to think about practical ways to show me how good you are that you can share with your application, even if you don't have that work experience. Whether it's whether it's an internship, or whether it's a volunteer position, whether you are helping organizing events for a community, whether you are a community manager, you start your YouTube channel, whatever it is, you really have to put that into your CV. And you put it in the same format. Nobody needs to, doesn't need to say, you don't need to devaluate your own work. If you're being a community manager for a platform, it doesn't matter what the platform is, even if it's a volunteer position or a no-profit. You don't have to specify that, but you have to give me the skills because this is what is relevant, and you have to give me accomplishments. So that's the third point. The fourth one is what I call the me problem, which is the problem where you don't think about the company perspective. So you're only thinking about yourself. And I had the same issue. So I was like, I'm so good. Why no company is calling me? Because I was, assuming that, first of all, they would see my application, they would immediately understand how good I am. And secondly, I was not tailoring things from the employer perspective. So you have to think of it this way. If a company is opening as a job opening, it means that they have a problem to solve. And your job in the application is not to, talk about how great you are, but it's how to show how you personally are going to solve their problem. So to give you an example, if somebody is looking for, a content marketer, then this requires that I look at their content marketing efforts. I make a plan about what I think would be helpful for them. In my cover letter, I demonstrate every single skill that is relevant for that by giving them accomplishments and not repeating what is in their CV. But I also think strategically about what is their problem. And another additional thing is, because you are a foreigner and you are competing in a job market which is really tough, the extra step that I recommend is that you also create additional material with your application. So if it is a job that you really want, it's not enough to send a CV and cover letter, also prepare something for it. So if I am applying for a marketing job, I also prepare a marketing strategy with suggestions and things that I would do for them to send together with my CV and cover letter, just to show, hey, so this shows that you are interested, you are passionate, you have researched the company, and you have practical ideas about what you are going to do. And this is incredibly valuable to an hiring manager. From the hiring manager point of view, you really have incredibly little time with each CV. So the major problem that I've seen, especially with young graduates, is that they are all the same. I cannot distinguish between these CVs at all. They are like exactly copy-paste. And it becomes really hard. And the ones that stand out are the ones that they put effort into it. They are showing me already how they care about my company and how they are solving my problem and giving me practical ideas about things that maybe I haven't checked. So I've had people that, for example, find the broken links, and in the email, they're like, in the nice email where they put their CV and cover letter, they also write, oh, by the way, I found this broken link. Maybe you weren't aware of it. Who doesn't want to know if there are broken links on the website? Or somebody, might be like, so I noticed that, for example, you have a Twitter and LinkedIn, but I've also researched Quora, and I can see that if you started to do community management on Quora, I started answering questions there is an expected result of X. So really do not just do a basic CV and cover letter that is like copy-paste, is not personalized, doesn't tell me anything, and just think that you're going to get a job that way. It is incredibly rare, especially for foreigners, because you are competing with people that speak the language, and you really have to be even better than them in order to get the job. And when you write a cover letter, it is extremely important that you think about your cover letter, which questions should answer. So for me, a cover letter should answer the questions, who am I? why I'm applying for this position, what can I offer, and why should you hire me for this position? A good cover letter gives me the answers to this. So I get an idea of which type of professional you are, why you're interested specifically in this company, and not just because, oh, I see, like basic stuff. I want to join a fast growing company, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not interesting. Give me something specific. Why I should consider hiring you and what you can offer to the company for that specific problem. So really think about personalization to the highest degree, and really think about how do I solve this problem that the company is posing through their job ad. So you really have to think about which problem they are having if they're opening the job ad, because that's the key to any application. And it's extremely important as marketers to really put focus in marketing yourself. So this is true for everybody, but it's even more important for a marketer. If you're telling me that I'm amazing at conversion optimization and copywriting and email marketing, and then you send me a super basic, email with no thought put into it and no thought put into the CV and cover letter, I'm not gonna believe you. So instead of telling me, show me that you are good. And you do that by giving me great materials to work with in the applications. Make a portfolio. Start doing this type of stuff. And I have to tell you, this really works. The moment that I moved from experience-based CV to skills-based CVs, when I started getting interviews, and I volunteered. I did, unpaid internships. I built my case to show, okay, actually, I'm doing this, this, and this, and this. Nobody cares what it is for. It's more about acquiring that skill. And then it's where, I started getting like serious interest, and then I started getting jobs. And it's not something that you stop doing. You keep networking, you keep volunteering, you keep refining your skills, because this is just it's a competitive job market, and you have to keep up to it. And I managed to work, from anything from hypergrowth tech startups like Swappy to established brands that are beloved all over the world, like Moomins. Now I'm the first foreigner ever hired at Moomins, and it was on the strength of my application. And when it comes to the second part, which is the assignment, you have to go 100% and more. Like if I give an assignment and you really want the job, like assignments, you will see who really wants the job in the assignment phase. So do an insanely good assignment and your chances just go even higher. Of course, this is not possible in every job, that there is assignments and things like that, I understand, but you can do that in advance. So if you really love a company and it's a job opening for a graphic designer, why don't you do some mock-ups for them? Why don't you show them already what you could do? If you are working in SEO, why don't you make already an SEO plan for them? Like, think critically about what would impress the hiring manager and what would show that you are super passionate about that job. This obviously means that you apply to less jobs and you do it in a much more precise way. I would say this is like my basic advice. I will also leave you a link to something that has helped me a lot during my search. And Google is a wealth of information, so you will find incredible advice about how to write good CVs and cover letter. You can use Canva for graphic templates, but the most important thing is that you think about the employer perspective.
Really good points, and I'm super excited to hear that you are the first foreigner in movies. That's an achievement, I have to say.
It is.
Yes, but yeah, I agree that a lot depends on us, and I think sometimes we have this like what is called limiting beliefs. Like, for example, oh, I'm a foreigner, oh, I'm a career changer, like, I don't know, whatever it is in your head, and then you subconsciously sabotage yourself from doing a good job applying, because you don't believe. So I think it's also some psychological things there. But let's over to Ilyas. Let's hear from him. What is his
Yes, actually, talking about that point, the thing or the mistake that most of foreigners or like job seekers today are doing is they already like underestimate themselves. So they're not bringing, they probably have values and skills and what they can contribute to the specific companies, and they don't know that, and they keep telling themselves, I'm just a foreign, okay, I'm not gonna get this job, I'm just gonna do some cleaning jobs for the rest of my lives, or some other normal jobs. But talking about that, I totally agree with Erica, and for me it was totally different story a little bit, because I found myself more into sales. That's why I took a different approach and started going more to events and meeting new people, try to grow my network and learning from others. And I created what was really funny back then. I created Trello board. And for people who are not familiar, what is Trello is basically a dashboard where you track your tasks or activities. And what I had there is I had the task for sending applications, and the moment when I started realizing, okay, this is not the best way to do it, sending a bunch of applications and bunch of cover letters to random companies and try to beg them to work for them. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna follow some companies and see which one that makes sense for me to work for them, and see the values and see the products, and something that at least in sales it's and I believe in marketing should be the same. If you're not excited about the product or the solution you're selling or you're marketing, you will never do a good job. That's why I believe in it. So that's why I took a different approach. I took some companies that I thought back then, and I still think that they are more exciting for me to apply to them and work for them. Then I start listing all those in Trello, follow some people on LinkedIn, send bunch of not bunch of requests again, but more like personalized connection requests to ask them just to share the knowledge about around sales and have a quick chat. I'm not going after people and say, hey, please hire me. No, I'm not doing that. But I was more like, hi, my name is Elias. I just got to this wonderful country. I have no friends, and today I'm in sales. I see that you have a lot of experience in sales. Will you be able to chat over lunch? Back then it was fine to go for lunch, coffee, whatever. And nowadays, of course, you can also do it online. But yeah, I started doing that, targeting people in those companies. Some of them they become actually friends, and I was quite surprised for Finnish people just to approach them like that and then become friends. But then I start to learn and dig more about the companies, following them, try to understand, and then when I go for a lunch with a person or coffee, then when they share about their stories, the company, what they're doing, how they're doing sales, I share with them what I did. It was totally different, but I did some kind of sales, B2C sales back in Belgium where I was studying, and I share with them my experience, and then they really liked it, and they say, okay, actually you have something in you, and we definitely can let you know if we're looking for someone. And that sentence really motivate me to keep up. And I was okay, let's catch up maybe in a month or two, and then see how the situation. And of course, if you hear someone who's looking, or if you hear if a company is looking for someone that could fit me as a potential employee in that company, just let me know. I will be happy to discuss it. So that opened up a lot on many opportunities for me. So I stopped sending application. I got many interviews without even sending applications anymore, and I was so impressed, like, what the heck, okay, I didn't know that you, you can just land an interview without an application. And my one of my previous jobs, without mentioning the company, it was actually, I went for a lunch with the CEO first, and we just chat, shared experience, blah blah blah. That was my second job in Finland. And after a while we kept in touch. After a while, a month or two, I saw that they were hiring. I just reached out to him. I was like, hey, you're looking for this person. Do you think that could be me? And he was like, are you available for an interview next week? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we went for another lunch, and then it turned out to be, that's it. It was like, okay, you can have the interview with the team, and then I got the job. So that's the power of networking today, and especially in Finland it's so small country, and it's so small, especially in Helsinki area. Everyone knows everyone. The companies, especially the startup community, is so small, so they know barely everyone. So if someone knows that you're good at something and they share it with others, I'm pretty sure you will get a really good feedback, and you will, your application will be more attractive for other applications, in my opinion. And that's from the networking part. And the other part, what I start realizing by time, I was like, when I had a job, and but still, like, sometimes you just need to find something else. I also came up with another new ways to be more creative. So it's very, very easy to do. I always believe is Google is your friend, and is your best friend. You have a lot of things in Google. You can do very, very creative applications. You can create some really nice design CVs. You can bring your values, your skills. Like Erica mentioned, just mention something that matters for that company. I don't want to hear about some project at school that you did, but the way you did it, the way how you lead the team, that will be very interesting to hear. So try to bring all those values, your skills, everything, and put them in the front line. So the hiring manager or the hiring team will see those skills, and you will be the exception. And another tip, actually, before applying, and most of the people, they're not doing it, and it really, really helps, is just pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, call the company, say, hey, I just came across this job ad, and I noticed you're hiring. Uh, I just want to have a chat and want to ask if this is something for me. You're looking for this and that. Is this something? And start asking about relevant questions. And then, not, of course, not something like, hey, are you willing to pay this much and that much? But more like really relevant technical question. That's something that you think will bring you to be that special case that they will remember you, and they will say, okay, I remember. They will put your the to your CV a picture, and they will say, okay, this guy called me and he asked about this and that. So that will make a special case, and then they will, for sure, it will move forward. So that's from my perspective also. And also another thing that I want to share with you is today you can see an example is TikTok is working. You know why? Because people consume a lot of videos. Grab your phone, tell people what you do. 60, 90 seconds. Just tell them how excited you are to join their company. Smile a little bit, tell them what you got, and let them see who you are. Or use LinkedIn, use audios on LinkedIn today. We have a lot of technology that can be used to make that exception and be noticeable amongst other applications. Of course, if you have a CV with a background from Microsoft, Google, you studied in Harvard or Oxford, don't bother yourself. Just put those names in some toilet paper and send it to the company. I'm pretty sure they will hire us straight away. But here you have a lot of competition, especially if you're not speaking the language, if you're not fluent in Finnish or Swedish or even both sometimes. This makes it even harder for instance, me, like you, to find a job that you're looking for. So in that way, you need to be very special, very creative. So you will say, okay, this is something that we didn't find in unfortunately, in some Finnish person like your age and in your background in the company or in the country. So we will give you definitely a chance. So that's pretty much my advice, and to share with you, Pastor. I hope I'm not. Let me know if I'm running out of time.
Please take my time. I don't like to talk for so long.
Okay. Okay. Great to hear. I can
Can I
talk.
just say something, Ilyas? Like, it's kind of funny what you mentioned, because the job that I got at Moomin, they actually require Finnish and Swedish.
Exactly. Yes.
And then I came in and I was like, well, maybe we actually don't need it so much. So you really don't limit yourself. If you are, really show how good you are, and even companies that were thinking, oh, we need Finnish and Swedish, would be like, oh, actually, maybe we don't. We need somebody that can do this stuff better, and the best person will get the job, even if they don't speak the language. Not always, but you can make it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, most of the companies, they just want to feel comfortable finding someone who speaks Finnish. It was not, in most of the case, or like the job that I worked previously, they had Finnish as a skills in the job ad, but I didn't care. I just straight call and say, hey, I want this job, and I will be happy to show you what I got. So that's the thing. You need to be creative. You need to just pick up the phone, ask, is it really relevant to speak Finnish or Swedish in this role? I can show you that that's not the case here. And some stories that I would like to share with you here is how I got some of my jobs back then. It was like beside the going for meeting up with people or just networking with people, I did it in different way. One quick fun example was I booked a demo call with the company, and I know when you book a demo call, it will go for a salesperson. And then when it went to that salesperson, I asked to forward it to the head of sales. So then from there I literally had, instead they thought that it was a customer. It was not the best way to do it, but it was a bit creative, and the head of sales, they liked the approach, and they say no one did this. So instead of the demo call, we had actually an interview, and unexpectedly, and they were like, we were not hiring, we were looking for someone different, but if this is how you do it, I think this is very special, so let's give you a chance. And there are plenty of way, like Erica mentioned, try to find something that they're looking to solve. Go to their website. You're a marketer, I'm pretty sure you will notice something is wrong there, or you have some better ideas. Put something together, some content. Stop wasting your time on sending a bunch of applications. Focus on one thing. Give them why they should hire you, and put something together and show what they can achieve with you. So because that's what matters. If you show them how, for a salesperson, how much money they can generate with you, and how much money, of course, like as a marketer, also how much money they can generate by your talent, then that's what matters the most. And one last advice, and I hope I'm not I'm not consuming all time here, but
That's okay.
my advice talking too much here, oh my gosh. When
No,
you got
seriously, I don't like my voice on these, and I'm very, very nervous about my voice. So it's fine that you're taking more of my time, because
We're gonna get to you, Em. Don't worry. In any case, we're gonna get to you. Don't hope. No,
okay,
but yeah.
quickly, one last advice. My last advice for you guys: when you get a rejection from a company, don't stop there. Go after them, ask for a feedback, ask for a call, and just to learn what you have done wrong, especially if you put a lot of time and effort in specific application. Try to learn, and from there you will notice that okay. And it actually, it happened to me in a way that I'm always that guy who's looking for a feedback, and asking why you didn't hire me, or why you didn't, what was wrong with me. am I weird? But the thing was super funny. One back in one company, when I got to the like one of the final interviews, we had 3 people left, and I got rejected from that process for the last interview. And when I asked for a feedback, the CEO was super happy that I did that, and we had a call after that, a chat. It was one. It's not a quick chat. It was 1 hour and a half. But the CEO, she was like, I was so sad to say no to you, because like the other applicant has more experience than me, and it's relevant for them. But she says something that I didn't expect from a Finnish person that I never met before. She said, I will be very, very, very glad to introduce you to anyone in our industry who's looking in Finland to hire someone like you. And actually, she introduced me, and I got an interview to the final. And the moment when I was almost to get an offer, I just rejected because I got an offer from Virta. But you see just the power of getting like this, being resistant and try to get feedback and all those things together. It's what makes it like a very special sauce that you add to your application to get Finnish people excited about you. And last thing to add, because I have a lot of things and I really want to just say it here, because I feel that a lot of job seekers and foreigners, you will be lost, and I really feel you. And my advice for anyone who's looking for a job today without any fluent Finnish, connect with companies you want to work with, grow in your network, or just apply with an outstanding, very special application, be creative. Or the third thing, if you're an introvert or lazy person to do any of the 2 advice, just skip all of it and go study Finnish. So that's my advice for you guys. And remember, Google is your best friend. I hope I didn't get to M time, but
That's
there we go.
okay.
Ilyas, really cool advice. Yeah, I just want to say that Ilyas here is a salesperson, but I think sales and marketing are always like going hand in hand, or should at least go hand in hand in good companies. That's why I think we can learn from Ilyas here a lot also. And I really like the like this positive approach that like, I got a rejection, doesn't matter, keep going. Like, I think this is,
I mean,
you just tire them out at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. And of course, go ahead. I'm just gonna start talking again.
Yeah.
The stage is
but
yours.
we're gonna get back to you.
No, that's such a good point though. Like, you get a rejection, you just keep going. And like I have been on a job search earlier this year, and like I take that approach, and it really helps with the mental health, because being like on a job search as an active job searcher can feel kind of demoralizing, if you will. Like, it's like, I will never be good enough. You hear how many people have applied to each and every job that you apply to from the interviewer, if you make it there, or they tell you in like a form email, like, we received 250 applications and we did not proceed with you. Like, as a job seeker, that doesn't make me feel better. That makes me feel like I'm never going to be good enough. So it's really demoralizing. But what do you have to do to be not one of the people who just gets the email? I think you really need to like work on the CV. And so I did decide that I would share my own CV and my own like brand card that I send with every application, because it is something that I think is a really good idea if you're not familiar with like psychology or color theory. I think it's a strategy that could help your CV stand out. And I think the only person who has seen it is actually Ekaterina, because she asked, but people don't ask. So if people want to see this, Ekaterina, do you think this is good for people to see what I showed you?
Definitely. No, when I got you as my mentor, and I was like, okay, now finally I'm gonna sit down and work on my CV, like, because now I have to. And indeed, even I have to say that from what you taught me already, I started to like to work on my CV, and I'm more
so
excited
good.
about my own CV. It looks better. It's like, okay, I want to do this again, because my good old CV that I was sending out for a while, I couldn't see it even anymore.
The other thing that, like, the Awesome Marketers is a great place to grow your network, and we do in there have, like, you can request to be assigned a mentor, but I think right now a lot of people are like a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of people asking for mentors, but that's a good thing. And Ekaterina did not get assigned to me. She just asked me if I would teach her something. So that is how that came about. So I will share my screen. I have this popped open, and I did hide some of my personal information because I know this will go on YouTube for the entire internet to see forever. So I hid something. Yeah. So I can't share the screen. How do I do that, Ekaterina?
You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, that's a classical. I'm talking while muted. 1 second, I'm going to try to make you a host here.
Luckily, you're not a cat.
I would love to be a cat for somebody else to feed me and let me sleep in the sun all day. Wouldn't that be living the dream? Okay.
I think now you are supposed to.
Yeah, and if anybody comes in, I will let them in. So I will share my screen. Share screen options. Share screen.
The green one in the middle down.
Desktop 1 is a mess. Apologies here. Oh no, I can do that. Okay, so this. This is my CV here. He likes my CV. I have heard from, like, marketing professionals, they don't like my CV. It's too busy like this. And I think, like, here is an area where I could probably break it up a little more. But I don't need to. Like, here down here, I go over my skills, as Erica mentioned, and over here I talk a little bit more about what I did at each job. And it's a little bit cluttered because I can be long-winded in writing more than in speaking. That is my comfortable mode of communication, given the option. So this is, how I made it look. And I didn't share it because I don't want anybody to feel, like, intimidated by it. But the colors are what I want you to notice, because anybody can make the colors like this. So my CV has my name at the top, and it does not have a photo. And I thought, like, for 2 hours just about that when I made it. So I get it. I consciously chose to leave my photo off of my CV after something that happened to me, where when my birth name was not Finnish. So when I changed it to a Finnish name, I noticed a huge uptick in how many how many interview offers I got, like, immediately, because as soon as it changed bureaucratically, I was able to apply for jobs with it. And the amount of interviews I received in a month and a half, like, this was right before COVID. That's how I have such an exact time. But a month and a half, the amount of interviews I received was the same number as I had received in the 9 months previously. And that is just from sticking a Finnish name on the top of my CV. I didn't change anything else about it at this time. And at the time, it was not this CV either. It was a similar format, but I have more work experience now, and I've fleshed out the skills section a lot. So it is that skills, like, section that I really wanted to show people, because, like, Erica is a hiring manager. I am not. So I can't speak to what I would look for, but this is, like, a bullet point list of skills that, like, appeal more generally. Sometimes I do, like, target the CV toward the job a little bit more, but I really try to keep that into a brief note when I apply for the position. This is why I'm applying for the position. Here's what I can bring. And I try to keep that short. I do not write a full cover letter. Maybe some people do. And because English is my first language, and, like, primarily I do apply for, like, content jobs. So I might be somebody who could write a stronger cover letter and have that be noticed. but I don't think a bunch of words is going to get me noticed as much as something like this. So I put together this in Canva. It took me like this is just my LinkedIn bio, and I pasted it here with a photo, and I follow up. If there's an email saying follow up on your application here. Oh, wait.
Sorry, Em, for interrupting. I'm not sure you're sharing the right.
Yeah, we are not
What
seeing the brown card.
Yeah, we still see the CV.
Yeah.
Oh,
still on the
okay.
CV side.
Please stop share. What about now?
Yes, I think.
Now do you see the brand
yeah.
card?
If you click on it.
No, I think you need to click on it. Yeah.
Okay. Bring your shared window to the front. How about now?
You should share the entire screen. Now.
Gosh. What about now?
It's still the CV. Probably you're in the wrong
Closed
screen.
now the brand card. It was like a separate window, but was closed.
How about now? Did we lose the screen?
Now we see you.
Okay.
It's okay.
Better than hearing me, so I'm cool with that.
Oh no, go ahead, try again. Maybe we can see.
Yeah, no, I closed the window, and here we go. Here we go. So this would be a brand card that I threw together on Canva. This logo was designed for me by a designer. So I did not design that myself, but that is a logo that goes for my Toiminimi, which I freelance in the meantime, which can be it's helped me feel more empowered, as I haven't been working, and I haven't, like, if you don't get a salary, when you freelance, you still get a little bit of money, and the feedback you get there can also really help bolster you during a prolonged job search. So this is just something I threw together in Canva. These pictures are just kind of random ones I used. This one I don't actually own the rights to. It's Rochester, New York, which is where I spent a lot of time when I was younger. This is just where I'm from. This is places where I lived abroad before. I just really like water. So I wanted it to reflect my personality a little bit, so that the people who would be interviewing me would see that I like water and nature. But that's probably a pretty safe bet. Finland also loves water and nature. So if you're applying in this market, you can probably have it be like a safe bet. Then this is just my LinkedIn bio on a brand card. And it just says, this is me, this is what my job is, these are the types of jobs I apply to. And then this is just my LinkedIn bio and a photo of me also outside in nature. You can't see the water behind me, but it's there. That's the Porvo River. And this picture was taken by Juliette Decuzzi. She's another professional in our network here. And then these are just my socials. So anybody can find me there. And if you friend me on LinkedIn, I'll say yes. If you friend me on a different one, maybe. If I know you. But yeah, so like this is a way for the employer to get to know me, and it has the same color as the CV. So that kind of helps, like, the memory, helps them think of like who you are. It brings to mind the CV. So you want to make sure you have a very like polished CV. I would say if you have a friend who has really good English or is a native speaker, ask them to proofread your CV, and maybe they will have time, hopefully. But yeah, so always have a second pair of eyes look over it. Even if you don't have a native speaker friend or a friend who's super good at English, look over it again. Maybe you could find like a Skillshare over Reddit, something. You can find somebody to help you proofread your CV. A second pair of eyes is always better than just yours, which are tired and stressed because you are job searching. So that would be my advice. That would be my advice to any anyone on how to make their CV better. So those are just a couple of things I made, and that CV was pretty easy. I did it in Canva. It was a pretty easy thing to throw together, and didn't take too much time. Yeah, it was. I also try to send a couple other deliverables through Canva, because if you are a content producer in any capacity, there's probably going to be a time when you will be asked to create a piece of content that isn't written. So for me to expand my skill set with Canva was something that I spent this year doing so far, and that's what I can produce now after like 2.5 months of playing with this program. And if I can do it, anyone can, because sometimes when the computer turns on, it makes me want to cry. I'm not a very strong tech person. I can do what I have to do as a content marketer, but I'm not the hugest of data heads.
Super cool advice, Em. I'm really glad you shared your brand card. That's something I personally loved, and all the advice that I got from you before. I'm really glad that now the whole community has it. And yes,
I'm a little shy though, so tread carefully.
Yeah, here Anna in the comments, by the way, says that if you want, you can send the CVs to the community for someone to check, like to proofread your CV. That's pretty cool. That's another thing looks like that we can do for you in the community.
Another service for free.
Yeah.
But something I really want to also
I'm
not gonna interrupt the agenda.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just remember something. I found something very, very interesting here. I'd like to share it with you guys. But this is how how I applied. Let me share my screen. Actually, I cannot share it.
No, I have to. No, I should have made everyone host in the beginning.
I don't know. I can try to do that. Let's see. Because right now I'm the host, right? Or did you take it back? Multiple participants.
Just click on Ilyas, and then there's gonna be 3 dots, and you go into the dots, and somewhere there gonna be like make host.
Yeah, I'll pass you the host, so then you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's.
Now you're the king in the castle.
Okay, I hope I will not miss with anything. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So this is a quite very different. I just found it right now. It's one of my old cover letters when I wanted to apply to Rovio.
Okay, I have many questions. So where does it say Ilyas Boudrari?
I mean, like I have the text here. I just it was deleted for some reason, but I had the text.
Okay, okay. So this was like the design around it.
Yes, so this is the design around it, and it was more concentrated on the raw view. So I know who's this guy, for example, and I know. So that means it will give them an idea that I know a little bit about the company. So I had like I put here all the key skills that I have and what I can contribute to. By the way, there is someone. Should I let him to the room? Okay. But yeah, so I had all the skills here set here and everything about myself and what I can do for the company. So this is just an example when I saw your CV, and also I thought that I could share this. And also something that is very interesting that I had before, and actually it from my perspective, when I go to the interview, especially if I was invited and I want to impress them, is what I do. I do the search about the company and I put something together. I put a small presentation, and this is what I did. Like I did it twice actually, and I got to the final rounds of the interview with very, very experienced people that I never thought that you will give me a chance to be there. So this is a small presentation. Do you see it, by the way?
Yep.
And I should do it maybe present mode here. No, it's okay. Anyway, so my mission at X company, then that was like the title of the role. Here is some of the things I could focus on in 12 months. And I just put the things that this is more related to sales. Then I give them the example of target market that I will be go after. Like in the French market, I put the names of the prospect that I will go after. And so this is more about the sales, but again, like it shows them a little bit that I know what I'm gonna be doing. I know the ICP or the ideal customer profile of the company. I know how to do prospecting. This is like an example of prospecting in sales, and so on. So it shows them that I know what I'm talking about, and it shows them what are my skills, what I've been using. And again, this is just a way to impress the HR team during the interview that it's not only your show, but it's also my show. I'm here to show you something. And they were like super surprised, like not like every time it will be like, yeah, thank you, that's all. And I was like, no, let me show you something now. And then I started with my presentation. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah, I think that's
somebody said, Anna said, Ilyas, if you are not shy, share your video for Verta application. That one was nice.
I remember where is it, but I can try to find it later and share it in Slack. Be happy to do so.
Okay,
there were
yeah.
a couple of other, there were a couple of other things that I wanted to mention now that we have taken a look also at MCV and things like that. So there are a couple of other points. One, you really have to have a great LinkedIn profile. I'm sure you know this already, but your LinkedIn is like extremely important. So you really have to build your personal brand there. Everything that you can put on LinkedIn. Like I'm at the point where not all my accomplishments and skills can fit into my CV. So it's super important that everything is on LinkedIn. So you get the short version on as a CV, but then you can go on my LinkedIn and check additional stuff there. And recommendations and everything that you can add there. And the second one that also Em was mentioning is the bio. So for me, it's very important that there is a clear bio summary at the beginning of a CV that tells me who you are and where are you going. So it should be like really short. It doesn't have to be extremely long. It doesn't have to be extremely basic. But I have to understand what are you looking for. Sometimes you look at CVs and you don't really understand what is their path, what is their career path, what they're interested in, and that goes immediately into the straight no pile. And the third one that I wanted to point out is that when you talk about the skills that you have, I see this a lot in young graduates, and everybody puts there like a great team player and things like this. I don't care. It's completely irrelevant. If you show me that you are a great team player and you have all these skills by actually telling me how you have been doing this type of work, then it's great. But if you just I could tell you 90% of this of the young junior marketing applicants that I got all had like great team player, like skilled, blah blah blah, content marketing, etc. And I'm like, how do I cannot even know if this is true or not because you're just giving me a bunch of words. So really think about which type of skills you want to highlight and only put things that you're really strong in and that you can have a proven track record to show me that what you're saying is true.
Yes, exactly like that. Yes, I feel strongly about this also. Like the buzzwords are not going to get you anywhere as far as I'm concerned. Yes, but looks like we have had more or less the keynote part. So I wanted to start with the questions that were pre-submitted, but actually already we have quite many live questions. So maybe let's go there. So the very first question was to Erika. And she asks, what made you apply for a job that requires Finnish and Swedish? Like, how did you go there?
It was movements. I love movements, and I knew that I couldn't pass it up. Also, at this point of my career, I am pretty confident in what I can do, and I knew I am good at what I do, and if they give me a chance, I will see it too. So it was, to be honest, it was just, okay, it's Moomins, I'm gonna pass it up. But I have to be, I have to say this, in the past, I've been very reluctant to apply to jobs that require Finnish or Swedish. But then there's been this really amazing woman in the International Working Women of Finland. I'm not gonna say her name just in case she's not comfortable having it on YouTube publicly, but she wrote in the post, and she was encouraging people to apply for jobs, even if they require Finnish or Swedish. And just go for it. And I was like, yeah, this is actually, it's super important. Why am I not doing that? So I did it, and I'm sure that I will do it in the future. At this point, you know, you can take a look. I have a predefined career path. I have a predefined skills, so the hiring manager can take a look and say, maybe it's worth to just have a conversation with them. And then in the conversation, I will explain why I actually think diversity is the added value, and why I think that having somebody from international background is a added value to their company, and make a case for it. And this is what I did for Moomins. And then we're like, actually, yes, this makes sense. So, and then deliver the best case study they'd seen, and then it was game over.
Yeah. I mean, Moomins are. So you had like the company in mind, more or less, like Ilyas said, like you already had the company, and then you didn't care.
Yeah, and like I saw the opening, and I immediately, like within 1 second, I applied. Because they have very rare, it's really rare that they have openings. So I was like, I've never even seen one before. So I was like, immediately I had to apply.
Yeah, I have to say this is very interesting, because last event we had hiring managers, and they were telling like their story. And now I have that you have like overcome the obstacles of getting a job. And actually, in many areas, it's the same. So I think we're on to something here.
Yeah.
But let's take some of more questions, I think, now from the pre-submitted. Actually, there's one question that especially I would like to bring up, because it's always interesting for me also, because it's quite a new thing. So the question goes, does certificate, Google, Facebook Blueprint, HubSpot Academy really matter in the employer's perspective? Well, we don't have the employer's perspective, but how is it in your case? Have you had any certifications? Have you applied with them?
I've not taken any certifications, but I've been a hiring manager many times, and it really depends. Let's put it this way: if you are an experienced marketer, no, it doesn't matter at all, because I'm gonna know that you have done this stuff already. But if you're a junior person, it can be added value, not so much because of the certificate. It's not the certification. It's just that I know that you have an understanding of the basics, first of all. And secondly, that you have taken the time to actually invest in your skills and develop something and develop yourself. So in that sense, is useful. And definitely Google and Facebook for me is more relevant. But in general, it just shows that you are like working on yourself. And I also can say, okay, they have a basic idea. Maybe they never had the opportunity to do Facebook ads because they just had never had the budget, right? But at least they have some idea of what it could be. So it's not like a deal breaker, but it's definitely something that I think it has value.
Yeah, I agree with Eric, and also I can add that certification will just help you to give them an idea that you know some of their tools that you use in like CRMs, like HubSpot Academy, Salesforce, or whatever they're using, and that will be a plus, of course. But something else very important is just like to Google and try to find some e-learning things that you do while looking for a job, especially if you're not doing anything, because you need to explain to people, and that time where you spend on looking on a job, what did you do with it? Are you just looking for a job and just, I don't know, pretending that you're looking for a job, not doing anything else? But rather than showing them during this time of 2, 3, or 6 months, I was looking for a job, I did this, I took those courses, and I did this online, I did this certification, I did some other courses, I did this and that, I managed to study this, and that will make them understand that you are that person who's eager to learn new things and not only stuck to the old ways. Because like to keep the race today with the rest of the talents that we have on the market, is you need to be creative, but also you need to educate yourself and refresh your skills and keep up with them. Otherwise you're just gonna be like, hey, this guy is outdated, he needs some updates, so we're just gonna maybe let him go. But yeah.
How
Sorry,
about you?
my comments all the time is like 4 or 5 minutes.
How about you? How are you doing with the certifications? What's your stance on that?
I like taking online tests and I like learning new things. So I like to collect them. And the important thing, if you have the certifications, is to keep up with them. Because if you get to the job and you don't know how to use the thing you have a certification for, that would be a potential issue I could see. So like if I have a certification, that's a thing where like I take out 3 hours every Sunday to keep up with my professional development, just watching YouTube videos about how to keep up with that. Not always the same skill. And sometimes it even is just the Finnish language. So I usually try to schedule my Finnish lessons for a Sunday afternoon. So
And also like I can also add something here. Be prepared that a hiring team or hiring manager or the person that is hiring, they will ask you what are you doing to develop your skill? What are you doing for self-learning? What are you using? Could be like certification, could be like, I don't know, some ebooks, it could be podcasts, anything that you're following.
Also, the shortcut is having like they're doing a digital marketing training course, right? Like upcoming,
Exactly.
and there was like a huge wait list for those slots. So like they are, a talent incubator. So if there's higher demand, there will be more of these courses available. And with the like that is one place you could go. You could also check out different online courses. Sometimes I read Neil Patel's blog and then I go like this and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that? And it's like, oh, because Neil Patel did it for me. And now I read his blog today and now I know it too. So that's good enough.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like if they're talking to you, if you get an interview, you're already considered to be good enough. You just have to continue to demonstrate the same level of quality you show on your CV throughout the talking parts. And I am not a talker. I am the introvert who wants to learn Finnish. So I'm here because I wanted to push myself and Ekaterina asked me to, but I'm not confident speaking. I'm not confident doing interviews. And like, I can get interviews because of my CV, but I'm not comfortable doing them. So pushing yourself, putting yourself out there, doing things that you're not comfortable with all the time is what makes you better at doing them across the board when you have to deliver. So like practice makes perfect, but you will never ever be perfect. And understanding that is incredibly relieving. So be gentle with yourself. Is what something I would like to remind everybody because it's so competitive. When our field has jobs that receive 200 applications, bear in mind that maybe 50 of those are from somebody who has done a marketing job already. And all of those people are watching this right now, except for the 15 who had something else to do during a pandemic somehow. Good for them. I'm jealous, but
Right. No, but exactly that's why I'm glad that we're doing it, because the public speaking is more than just public speaking. It's also interviews. It's like many times it's your performance at work. It's definitely leadership skill. So I'm really glad.
sometime they'll be in person again. Nobody knows when. It's a mystery. I can get a vaccine in like 40 years right now. So
But I think at least I'm the weird one that actually likes interviews. So I'm, we have had this talk with M before, but I do like interviews, and basically, it's somewhere where I really shine. So, but it's true that like we have been talking about the CV and cover letter part of the equation, but obviously it is a whole package in order to get a job. And I think this was brought up quite a bit in the hiring manager previous webinar, but you also had to work on interview skills. And if you like Ilyas suggests pick up the phone, please do it structurally, because I hated it when job seekers called me because it was completely useless. It was just I will never remember who was the person. They were just asking, random questions, and I put down, I'm like, I have no clue who they were. It did not make any difference. But if you're doing it in a structured way in which you're actually asking relevant questions and you are talking with somebody that can, understand that your skill set, like it would be pointless if a developer, just to give an example, calls me and asks technical questions, of course. But if it's somebody that like you're talking directly with somebody that understands your skill set and is the person that is making the decision, then absolutely it is an impact. But just do not pick the phone without a strategy.
That's a good one. Yeah, so I have one comment from my side, if you allow me, using my position of a host. I recently was on Clubhouse on some neuroscience training, something. The guy was giving a lecture in neuroscience. Don't ask me.
What are you trying to become?
No, I'm just a Clubhouse fan, so whenever the room says some funny name, I just join to listen to what the people are blabbering about.
It's a great way to develop your skill set constantly too.
That's true. And so he said, basically what we are talking here is that some people are more comfortable like writing out their skills, like doing the resume, doing the visuals and so on. Some other are more like go out to lunch, pick up the phone, like more extrovert way. Some people, incredible lucky people that are born with a star, have both. I don't know any of those, but probably they are here also. So, but what he said is that always you have to develop what is like your weak side, but you have to kind of get you in a good position with what is your strong side. So basically you earn your first whatever it is, your first job, your first, I don't know, million with what is your strong side, and meanwhile you keep like pushing your weak sides and trying to develop there too all the time. But basically don't bet on your what I wanted to say. So if you're hearing this advice, some advices are probably ring true more to one part of the people who are listening, and some other are more close to the other part. So just choose your groove, but also don't forget to develop the ones where you feel less comfortable. Now I also have a question from my side to our speakers, because I'm normally shy to ask my own questions, but today we don't have so much, so I'm gonna go with that. So I'm really interested in I can't stop to think about this applying without Finnish and Swedish to the position that says Finnish and Swedish. I'm gonna tell you a story. So last year I was just fresh out of my sales internship, and I still thought maybe I'm going to go for sales jobs more than for marketing. It's later that I realized that I'm more interested in marketing. So I was getting some sales interviews, and most of them, maybe Ilyas now is going to help me out, or Erika, let's see who. And many of those, of course, say Finnish and Swedish and Dutch and like, I don't know what else, but always Finnish and Swedish. And I took this advice from also, I don't remember whom, just apply. You don't, because I speak Finnish. My son speaks Finnish perfectly. I speak Finnish too. Like I can get around. I can even I can sit in a meeting and understand absolutely everything. It's just, I can't participate on a good level, or I can't write out like a proper grammar email. So I consider myself speaking Finnish. So I always write like, yeah, Finnish, or I used to. What happened then is I got a great...
Does anybody write emails in proper Finnish grammar though? Because does anybody write emails in proper Finnish grammar? Because I have yet to read an email from a Finn written in Finnish in proper English grammar, actually. So,
okay,
proper Finnish grammar rather.
Oh, no, but what I mean is I'm not comfortable with writing text in Finnish.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever. So I'm not sure how my grammar is. And when you're speaking, you can kind of, like play around it. But when it's written there, it's written there. So what happened is I got from one company that I was really interested in, I got a call. We had a great interview, first from HR, and then would be the hiring manager. Like for some reason, first was the HR person. We had a great interview with her in English. She loved everything about my experience, about my background, everything. And then she said, well, tomorrow. So it was like tomorrow our manager the hiring manager is gonna call you, but the interview is going to be in Finnish because he's Finnish and also he wants to see you. And this is where I collapsed, of course. So next day when he called me, also was on the phone. So it's even more difficult than if we were in person because you don't sometimes even hear very well. I answered all the questions. I understood all the questions. I answered all the questions to my understanding, but he never called me back or never wrote to me back. And I understand why, because I said very good Finnish, and then because was not fluent, and also I was nervous. Clearly I showed that basically I lied on my application because I said fluent Finnish. So this is why I always, since then, so I was doing it for some time, this fluent Finnish on my application. I'm not doing it anymore. Now I'm writing, how is it? B.2, I think, is my level that I have on a certificate. So that I have it in paper. I can say that. So how about that? What is your opinion? So should you anyway?
I don't apply to jobs that require, that are like where I should have to write something that is not true. So I never wrote that I have good that I have Finnish and Swedish. They were just interested enough in my CV and in my application to be like, okay, we're gonna chat. And then I managed to convince them in the interview and the case study. So I don't think it makes any sense to kind of misrepresent your skills. In this case, I don't even think you were misrepresenting your skills. I didn't write it. I would never write anywhere that I'm like, I'm very, very strict about the fact that I work in English. That's the language that I work in. And I made the conscious decision to be very good at my job instead of very good at Finnish. I'm not good enough to be both, to manage to be amazing at Finnish.
It's a job in itself, isn't it, to learn Finnish?
Yeah, so I made the decision to be just a very good marketing professional that works in English. And then it's up to hiring managers to decide. But the problem is that sometimes people put Finnish and Swedish in the job application, not because it's really needed, but more of a, and this is true in general. Many times job ads are wish lists. You should not apply because you don't have 100% of the skills, which is something that it has been proven that women on average tend not to do. They tend not to apply unless they have more than 90% of the skills. And he said men tend to apply even if I have 60 or even less. So do not think, okay, I have to have every single thing. Of course, you have to have the basics. If you apply for a job that requires, experience, like 5 years experience and specific things that you just don't have, it's probably a very long shot. But if it's something where you have more than half of the skills, apply. And the worst that can happen is it's not what is needed. But you really have to also make a strong case in the cover letter. If I know that I don't have everything that is required in the job ad, then I also make a case on why I think that even without that, I'm gonna be successful. So if it's something that they require, deep expertise in a medical field, which I don't have. But again, argument, well, I learned everything about LCA and sustainability in the construction industry, which is a pretty complex topic, and in a very short time, and I even authored papers on it. So I'm very confident that I can pick up whatever knowledge you need me to pick up in a very short amount of time. So always think about the possible objection and address it
before.
But do not apply. Yeah, in the cover letter, I would do that, absolutely. So that if you are missing a key ingredient, but you have almost everything else. But sometimes they require Finnish just because it's not, and especially for an international company. Like obviously, if it's a Finnish company but it's only selling in Finland, it's gonna be a tough sell.
It was a very international company.
Actually, yeah, then it makes sense.
So I have no idea what happened there.
In my opinion, if I were you back then, I would probably mention it in the first interview that, hey, by the way, I do speak Finnish, but I mean, I'm not comfortable using, especially if you're not comfortable or like very confident in using your Finnish to do sales. So that's that's something that you just need to be honest. And come on, we know Finnish people, they just like honesty in that sense.
True.
When you tell them, then they will say, okay, we will still probably give you a chance or not. So they will qualify you from there. But like after you didn't share it with them and they assume that you speak Finnish, what could be like, in my opinion, you could just follow up with him and ask what went wrong and why didn't continue with you, because like I will never leave it there, and I always try to get the feedback. But yeah, talking about if you can apply to job ads where they mention Finnish or Swedish, sometimes it depends on the company. If the company is even if it's a small or startup company here in Finland, but just check what they're doing. If they have clients, or they will have potential clients outside of Finland, then it's fine. And you can assume that they're just looking for someone who speaks Finnish, because most of the people in the company speaks Finnish, and it's for more comfortable way to communicate to each other from their perspective. That's how they see it. But sometimes it might be required because of the customers are based mostly in Finland or Sweden and so on. So you just need to, again, of course you can pick up the phone and call, but try to put it together and ask first. The common question I usually ask is it really required, if I'm doubting sometimes, is it really required to speak Finnish in this role? I do have this experience in that, and this is what I did, and actually it matched with your ad. And I explain a little bit about my background in very, very short, like 30-second pitch in that sense, and then ask relevant question. And from there, you're gonna just understand if it makes sense to apply or not. Because again, it will be not only the waste of your time, but the waste of the time of others. And and that's usually how it works. And people like job seekers, they don't understand that it just throw application like that. It just like, come on, maybe we'll hit the jackpot and someone will will call us for an interview. It's not working like that anymore. Even like very, very old days, it's not. There's one question privately here. She's someone, Nishita. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Hello, Ilyas. You mentioned that you studied finance. What made you change your job preference? Is you finance hard field to find a job if you don't speak Finnish or Swedish? In my case, it was not about the Finnish or Swedish or the language requirements, but more like I've been during my studies. I've been doing sales and doing sales as a hobby, and really got excited. I always been this type of guy who always try to find new business opportunities, do little jobs that where it doesn't require a lot of effort, just a business idea, bring something, resell it on the market, and do all these things. And I really enjoyed it while I was a student. I made my money that I was living on. I didn't have any scholarship, so that's what helped me to survive in Belgium. And that teach me a lot. That I proved my skills, and I understood, okay, this is something I want to do later on. But the moment I got my degree, I was like, no, this is I don't want to work in finance, especially that I didn't know what I'm gonna do in the company. I mean, like studying finance in other country, then you try to find work here. It's not, probably it's not something for me. So just go for something that you're passionate about. That's something that you want to do. And the reason why I did that decision is I don't want to wake up every Monday and say, fuck, it's Monday, I don't want to go to work. So this is like how usually you should think about it, but it's not anything related to language. It could be related to language when it's accounting. Accounting.
Actually, no. Before of that, someone here says
Really?
don't limit. Before of that, I was working in finance 3 years here in Finland, without zero Finnish, like in my work.
Okay.
So opposite. This is why I was surprised when I got this, because it's not that I wanted to lie. Everyone told me, just say you're fluent. You're fluent. Finnish people told me, say you're fluent. You're quite good. So I said I'm fluent. But actually, you had a very good point when you said I didn't ask for. Maybe it's me who thinks that the reason was Finnish. No one told me that actually. Maybe it was not that bad either.
Yeah.
This is an interesting, by the way. I never go for this feedback. So actually, it's something in my head that I'm telling. Oh, it was because of Finnish that I didn't get it.
But getting back about the feedback, this is something that I really want all the time to bring it when someone asks about this. Something very, very weird happened when I asked once about the feedback a while back. It's a really known startup actually in Helsinki, without mentioning the name. But when I ask for the feedback, then you will when you start asking about the feedback, then you will start to understand what type of companies you were applying for, and so you will get a lot of answers. And the example was, when I asked for the feedback, they invited me for an like 30-minute meeting with another person who applied and asked for feedback too. So what happened is, you literally say to us, the reason why we didn't continue with you, we choose another UK or British person, and she didn't have any relevant experience at all. And it was like a first beginning of my looking for the job, and they say the reason why we didn't go for you because you both of you have really good experience, but you have a strong accent. I was like, what the heck? Okay. I didn't know companies care about the accent. Okay, that's good to know. So then I understood.
I don't think you have that strong of an accent.
No.
And like theoretically,
Come on,
I listen to people with a strong accent all day, every day. And it's very, very rare that I even speak to other native speakers I'm not related to. Your
But yeah,
accent isn't that strong.
thank you for saying
crap
that. But
you
it
heard
was
that, but
it was just very surprising. I was like, okay, actually, I don't want to work for you guys. I don't like this
Exactly.
type of attitude.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, before my name changed, I had like hiring managers and HR people ask me if my surname was Italian, which it is, but I don't ask me to even pronounce it because I can't. I don't speak Italian. And like just there can be sometimes a very strong lack of like cultural sensitivity, I think.
Yeah.
When dealing with the Finnish market, like why would I be able to speak Italian? I grew up in New York. Like my great grandparents, like if somebody says they're Italian and they sound like me, they're not. They're American. Like, sorry.
Yes, it's your fault for Alfredo sauce and all of that. So.
Oh my God, I can't eat that. My body can't process that anymore. I haven't been there in too long. But my carbonara is okay.
Okay, I hope you're doing the right recipe. There was one question that I wanted just to cycle back to, because it was like about, it appears that you all work for international market and not for the Finnish. I actually also work for the Finnish market. It's just a small portion, and I do get translations for, the ads and stuff like that. So at some point it will become about the skills. So it's not, it is easier at the entry level, obviously, to go for markets that are about that are international, or where you even have language skills. Of course, it is easier, because it's also a bit unrealistic to think that you, for example, can do content marketing in Finland for Finnish consumers if you are not basically native level speaker. So I don't think that's realistic that any company would hire you for that. But there are exceptions if you have extremely technical skills. So if you are more in the technical side of marketing, then it might be totally fine, because they might want somebody that has those skills and you don't have to do content. Maybe even need somebody that is extremely good with analytics and can build all type of dashboards and things like that. So it's not, it's not really about the market, it's about the fit. Like I would not apply for jobs that require content marketing in Finnish. I will never do, that type of marketing in Finnish. It's not going to happen. But I can do a ton of other things, and again, my skills are in demand enough that it doesn't really matter. So even for the Finnish market or the Swedish market, I have people that just translate it. And obviously, if you get to a higher level, you're not doing hands-on job. Your job becomes quite different. So at some point, you might have somebody that is head of marketing for Finland and doesn't necessarily speak Finnish because the skills required are different. But to start with, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to apply for content marketing jobs or these type of hands-on jobs that require content for the Finnish market if you cannot speak Finnish at native level.
Exactly, I agree with you. And actually, one of my friend also, he has almost zero Finnish, and he works in marketing. But what he does is more like auditing ads, Google Ads, analytics, and all those related things that I don't know how to name them. But like it's more like on the technical side of the marketing. But,
yeah, and maybe as a suggestion, that's a field where if you have the inclination, there is a bit less competition. Like if you manage to get the tech side down, it's gonna be a huge advantage. It's kind of funny because I come from academia. I never studied marketing in an academic format, so I just learned by doing it. And I was more on the content marketing, creative concept, brand type of side. And now I pushed myself into directions where they were a little bit more uncomfortable, like the data direction. So now I'm actually doing more data-driven type of things and analytics and performance marketing and things like that. So it's always good to really think like where you can push yourself in order to grow and which type of skills you feel you're missing. And it's always, you will never stop learning. You will always have to find for the next big thing that you need to learn in order to grow.
Yeah, I believe pushing yourself to your uncomfortable zone will definitely teach you a lot. I still remember my first day. I've been doing sales before, like B2C sales. I've been selling a lot of things and even tried out. I did work part-time-ish when I was here looking for a job, and I was working in sales. And when I shared my experience that I was actually doing sales to Finnish people in English, didn't even believe it. And it's just like sometimes you just need to push yourself, and I believe you will get there. And my first time where I pick up the phone, for example, and do cold calling, whatever, and all those things, I didn't master it. And back then it was like first experience shaking my hands on the phone and don't know what to say, but that teaches you a lot, and you become more confident in what you're doing, and you will definitely get there. I don't know if we're running out of time.
We are. I'm just,
okay.
the conversation is so good that I don't want to interrupt.
My last advice, because I'm super hungry. And my last advice for you guys is think about it as your CV or your application or whatever you have. It's like a Tinder profile. Okay. I'm sorry, but this is really real. Like the ones who gets like the matches or whatever, matching with other profiles, is the person who has something very interesting, very special profile. He doesn't just like keep it boring, but more like very interesting. I'm not talking about some nudes or naked pictures, but more like very interesting from
It's
that.
Friday night.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think one thing to point out that is different between a Tinder profile and the photo you sent with a job application is that for women professionals especially, it can be a liability to appear too pretty on an application. And like The Guardian has written about this. especially as a foreign woman, if you're used to being like exoticized for your looks on a daily basis, maybe not the same picture you would use on Tinder, because we all know
No,
what
of course, no,
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 but it's
no.
Yeah.
I
methodology.
didn't mean it that way, but the concept is what I meant is
Yeah,
we
of
try
course,
to do
of course.
something because people we are human after all. We are curious about that person who has something to say, always has something very unique and special. So that's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm not saying that you should put some muscles on the pictures and put it there and
Sports cars.
put the cars.
Yeah,
So
like do not go to. I had so many terrible applications. I remember once somebody in the cover letter was like, gave me, so here are like 3 random facts about this. Read up to the end of the cover letter to find out which one is true. And all 3 of them were bad. They were not indication of solid judgment. Let's put it this way. And I was like, this is incredibly immature. So now I remember you, but for all the
But
wrong
not
reasons.
for the good cause.
No.
Exactly.
Sorry, one thing. I had somebody that sent me a private message, but I don't know how to reply on Zoom. So please write to me on LinkedIn, and I will answer you. I'm not sure how to do it here.
Yes, and we are like already like 8 minutes past our time. So guys, let's wrap this up. I think this was a very good, relaxed conversation, I would say today. So less serious, more, but still very to the point. I enjoyed a lot. I hope everyone also. Thank you for joining. And yes, Anna, I think, has posted the link to the community already before in the chat. So if for some magical reasons you are still not with us, please join Awesome Marketers. We are truly awesome.
I agree. And yes, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to add me on LinkedIn as well. Happy to help. I don't charge for anything related to job seeking at the moment. Let's see. So take the chance when it's free.
Yeah.
And happy to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks
Thank
for
you, everyone.
coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Have a nice weekend. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.